Roth conversions sound simple on the surface, but once you really get into the details, they're not. I just got back from Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Workshop, where we covered 50 different Roth conversion considerations. So in this lesson, I'm going to simplify from 50 down to the 5 biggest mistakes I see people make. If it's your first time here, I'm Dr. Amanda. Welcome to the Retirement Income School. This is your place for financial education on how to protect your wealth and generate guaranteed lifetime income so you can retire financially relaxed. All right, let's dig right into this topic, 5 Roth mistakes and how to avoid them. Like I said, I just returned from the Ed Slott Elite IRA Advisor Workshop. And the first day of the workshop, we spent hours talking about his top 50 considerations to make for Roth conversions. What that means is that there is a lot to consider when you're thinking about doing a Roth conversion. In terms of what I teach you here at the Retirement Income School, this page is a really important highlight from the 290-page workbook that we went through during this workshop. 50 Roth conversion considerations. So he says, do smart conversions. Focus on the long term, big picture Roth tax benefits. So some of the core Roth conversion tax principles are: the enemy of all good tax planning equals short-sightedness. And what he means by that is that there is a foundational principle of all good tax planning, and it's that you always want to pay taxes at the lowest rates, even if that means paying taxes before they're required. I sometimes see people hesitating on making Roth conversions because they don't want to have the short-term pain for the long-term gain. Yet I've never met anybody who's done a Roth conversion that later, after they've done it years down the road, they look back and think, I wish I wouldn't have done that Roth conversion. And that's because once you do the conversion, now you've got tax-free growth for the rest of your life, and it simplifies your tax picture for yourself and your heirs moving forward. And Ed talks about how this is such a simple foundational principle, but it's often ignored. So the enemy of all good tax planning is short-sightedness, not planning for the long term. And retirement and estate planning are long-term planning goals. So when you're thinking about tax insurance, what Roth conversions do is provide tax insurance against the uncertainty and risk of potentially future higher taxes. You pay once and never again. And right now, paying taxes locks in today's historically low rates. You've heard me talk in other lessons about how we know the tax brackets through 2028. They're quote unquote permanent, but we know that Congress changes things over time. So for right now, we know the tax brackets through 2028. So we never want to let a low tax bracket be wasted. So just wanted to cover that first before we tap into the 5 mistakes, because these are really critical takeaways. All right, so back to today's lesson slides. When we think about 50 Roth conversion considerations, that equals complexity. And Roth planning is one of the most complex parts of retirement planning. So here are the 5 biggest mistakes I see for people in their 60s and early 70s. And a subtext to all of this is good tax planning is not about avoiding taxes. It's about paying taxes at the lowest rate over your lifetime. So it's a lifetime planning picture, just like Ed Slott pointed out. And Roth conversions are not investment strategies. You want to think about them as tax timing strategies. And with all of those core principles covered, let's move into mistake number 1. And this one is, I'll be in a lower tax bracket later. I want you to consider how large IRAs, this could also be 401ks, TSPs, create required minimum distributions that can push your income higher, not lower. Think about in those years where RMDs are happening, most likely you no longer have a mortgage write-off. You're not putting your kids through school, so you don't have education deductions. There are a lot of deductions that you lose, and you also add on Social Security income, sometimes pension income. You have investment dividends. So a lot of times I see people in their 60s and 70s. 73 is when RMDs start, or age 75 if you were born in 1960 or later. They end up having a higher income in their 60s and 70s than they did when they were working. And this is something that really surprises people. So it's important to consider, if you think you're going to be in a lower tax bracket later, then really add up all of the sources of income you have to make sure that that's going to be true. If you are going to be in a lower tax bracket later, then you might not want to do Roth conversions now in most cases. Sometimes it still makes sense, but this is a mistake I see a lot of people making. And the second mistake is Missing the window. So the years between retirement and when RMDs begin are often your lowest tax years and one of the best times to convert. And tying this back to what I just said, this is often because you have no W-2 income or self-employment income coming in anymore. You may not have Social Security yet. Maybe you haven't turned your pension on yet. So this is potentially going to be a lower income era where Roth conversions can really make sense because you're in lower tax years. Another consideration here is if you're 60, 61, 62, you're also before IRMA is going to affect you. And IRMA is the income related monthly adjustment amount on your Medicare premiums. And you want to consider how you're going to be impacted by those. And then once RMDs begin at age 73 and 75, well, then you've got to start paying yourself out of your retirement plans, and that's going to increase your income. So missing the window is something that you want to consider. When's the best time to convert? Use this window wisely between retirement and when RMDs begin. And the third mistake is ignoring the IRA size. Do you have 500K in your IRA, a million, 2 million, or even more? It's not uncommon for me to see people with 2 to 5 million in their IRAs and 401Ks. And here's what's important for you to consider when you have these large IRAs. It's not just savings, it's future taxable income. So again, we're talking about tax strategy and bracket management. We want to be considering, well, I'm actually in a contract with the government. I owe the IRS a portion of this money. So let's say you have a $1 million IRA and you're in a 24% tax bracket. Well, $240,000 of that $1 million IRA is not yours. And so Roth conversions help you plan for that in the future. I see this happen a lot with clients when we're looking at their net worth and they're looking at that overall number. And then there is a part of our brain that wants to forget that we owe the IRS a portion of our retirement plans. And so you definitely want to take that into consideration when you're thinking about your net worth and where income is going to be pulled from, what portion of your retirement plans are actually yours. Let's move on to mistake number 4, not planning for the surviving spouse. A lot of times when we're thinking about inheritance planning or planning for our heirs, we think about our children and our extended family instead of thinking about our spouse. I have this really great stat that I use a lot. I have it written down on a note by my computer. It says a 65-year-old couple has a 47% chance that one spouse will live to age 95. So it's critically important to consider your spouse when you're doing tax planning and Roth conversions. And we want to think about this is that when you have IRAs and 401Ks that are beneficiary to your spouse, well, once RMDs start, that creates the same income. But then when one spouse passes, you have higher taxes. This is called the widow's penalty. So in the widow's penalty, all of a sudden you've got the same RMD from those retirement plans for both you and your spouse, but one of you passed away. Now you've got RMDs on all of the IRAs and 401Ks, yet you're being taxed at the single filer tax bracket instead of the married filing jointly. So you've got the same income, higher taxes. So not planning for the surviving spouse is mistake number 4. Mistake number 5, forgetting about your beneficiaries. Now, we just talked about what's going to happen to your spouse, but what about your heirs, your children, maybe your nieces and nephew, your brothers and sisters? Most heirs must withdraw an entire IRA within 10 years. And what's going to happen there is that this is potentially at the highest tax rate of their careers. So let's say you pass on a large retirement plan to one of your heirs and they're in their 50s. Well, they're probably making the most money they've made in their lives at that age, which means that when they have to distribute that IRA within 10 years, they're going to take larger tax hits than if you did a Roth conversion and they got that inheritance tax-free. With a Roth IRA, you still have 10 years to distribute it, but you can wait until the 10th year, let it grow tax-free for all 10 years, and then at the 10th year, take it all. But the difference is that Roth IRAs are tax-free inheritances. And so that's the difference between an IRA where you need to do a lot of planning to distribute a taxable IRA over a period of 10 years versus a Roth where it's not going to affect your heirs and their taxes. So again, remember, Roth conversion planning is about tax management. So when you step back and you look at all of this, it's easy to understand why there are 50 considerations for doing Roth conversions. And this is where strategy really comes in. Roth planning directly connects to how your money is structured, not just for taxes, but for growth and income. Remember, this is not a one-time decision. This is strategy and it's long-term planning. So if you think about your retirement in buckets, you've got a taxable bucket. This could be your bucket that holds your equities. These are getting taxed on a consistent basis. Then you've got your tax deferred bucket, which is IRA, 401k, TSPs, 403bs. And then you've got a tax free bucket. This would be Roths. It could be a Roth annuity. It's also life insurance because when you access the cash value from a whole life policy, the access to that cash is tax free. And the inheritance that's paid out on a death benefit is tax free in most cases. So the goal when you're thinking about these three buckets is balance and control. We always want control of our money. This is what helps us sleep well at night when we're doing retirement planning. You always hear me say that you're here so that I can help you retire financially relaxed. Well, that relaxation comes from control. It comes from strategy. And that's why this is so important to consider when you're in pre-retirement and retirement planning phases. And this is where strategy really comes together, and you want to think about tools that work together. So you can do Roth conversions. This is where you're shifting money from the tax deferred bucket to tax-free growth. That's what Roth conversions are all about. You've heard me in most of my videos talk about annuities, where you've got accumulation, protection, and you can manage and control through doing partial Roth conversions year to year. And then there's also the life insurance bucket where you have tax-free liquidity and legacy. So when you're considering what tools to use, of course, you can do conversions from an IRA to a Roth IRA in an equities bucket. You could do this self-managed or work with a financial advisor who specializes in Roths and converting equities from an IRA to a Roth IRA or a 401k to a Roth IRA. Working with me, I specialize in using Roth-friendly annuities to help you do partial conversions over a period of years in a safe money bucket. The reason I use the safe money bucket is because you've got accumulation, protection, and you can do partial Roth conversions year to year, all in a safe bucket where you have a predictable strategy. There's no fluctuation. In an FIA annuity, a fixed index annuity, you're going to have a 0% floor where you can't lose in the market, and you're going to have the potential for gain. In some cases, I use bonus annuities where you have bonuses to help you offset the taxes that you need to pay on the conversion to Roth. So that's where annuities come into play. Some people like to turn these into income annuities, or you could just have a growth and protection annuity for that safe bucket in your portfolio. Life insurance, you could also reallocate money out of a tax deferred plan. That would be TSP, 403b, IRA, retirement plans that are tax deferred into a life insurance policy where you get a multiple X inheritance strategy that gets paid out tax free. It also gives you a cash bucket that's tax free. So you're reallocating money from your IRA into this life insurance policy. You're building your cash value, which can give you accessible funds that are tax-free for later in your life that could be used for trips, paying for kids' weddings or grandchildren's weddings, could be for long-term care protection. That's all going to be tax-free access. So I want you to think about how the goal is not to eliminate taxes, it's to control them. Of course, if I had a magic wand and I could help you completely eliminate taxes, that would be awesome. I'd probably be a multi-billionaire. But our goal is not to eliminate the taxes, it's to control them. So using tools and strategies like annuities and whole life insurance that help you get to that tax-free bucket and give you control over the process. If you want to chat about how annuities and life insurance can fit into your plan, helping you strategically move from that tax deferred to the tax-free bucket, then go to retirementincome.school. Click on the button at the top of the page that says book a Q&A call. We'll have a chat and map out a plan for you and monitor it over time. Again, that's retirementincome.school. Click on the book a Q&A call. And that's a wrap on this lesson. If you have not yet subscribed to the Retirement Income School podcast or YouTube channel, be sure to do so now. Click on the notification bell so you never miss out. Leave me comments. I always answer them myself. It helps give me ideas for new lessons. And continue to stick with me here at the Retirement Income School, where I'll help you keep your money safe and make it last so you can enjoy retirement. This content is for educational purposes only and is not financial, legal, or tax advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making decisions about your retirement.